So I don't know if you guys heard what happened yesterday over by the United Center, but this is an area that you guys have seen in a lot of my videos. This is some footage of me walking around the area over here. This is the near west side off of Damon. This is an area that I've talked about a lot. Every time I go down to County Hospital, you guys hear me talk about this area. I live off Damon, but about a mile north of this. And this, like I've mentioned a million times, is a very interesting neighborhood because you've got some like extremely gentrified area. It's right by the medical district where all the hospitals are at. The United Center, where the Bulls play and everything, is right there. But then you've got these gang territories. They're kind of interspersed in and surrounded. So if you were on my very first channel, I mean, in the very early days, if you were with me in like 2013, 2014, you saw the first video that I did that really did numbers was when I interviewed a gang, a street gang of four corner hustlers over by Wood and Maple. They call themselves the Woodblock Foes. And when I had done those videos with them, you also heard me talk about some of the other gangs in the area. And one of the ones that I mentioned was the Jungle BDs. We actually had a guy who was a member of that gang over at Kelvin Park, which is all the way up in Hermosa. But it just goes to show there's guys like going all over the place to school and stuff. But those BDs is one of the only sets of BDs that I know of on the west side. The BDs is mainly a south side gang. That set of Jungle BDs, they're in the area that's called Damon Courts. It's like some apartments that's right by the United Center. Actually, a gang that's clicked up with some four corner hustlers all the way from out in Austin, which is way to the west of here, over by like Division in Mayfield, called P Block. Okay, and the Damon Courts, the Jungle BDs, it goes by DCG. They say that it stands for Dreams Conquer Goals, which is, that's their own like inspirational term for that acronym. But the actual meaning of that, the street meaning is Damon Courts gangsters, okay, for the BDs over there, and then Dirk City gang for one of their dead homies that's from over there. Okay, so I'm just mentioning this because this video is going to be about two different topics, because the incident that just took place out by the United Center could have been anybody from anywhere, because it was the United Center. It was like people coming out of there. So, they could have been from any part of the city. I don't know what that had anything to do with, but I'm also going to talk about why this area, some of the activity that's in this area a lot, and the gangs that are in this area. So both those topics are going to be covered in this video. First, let's get to what happened, for those of you guys that haven't already heard about it. There was a drive-by shooting, and 5 people were shot. A gunman had opened fire on them as they left a concert at the United Center. And the United Center, it doesn't just host sports events, it also hosts, other types of events. Lil Durk had a concert over there. Durk, if you guys saw my interview with those Woodblock folks, they had mentioned that Durk had been over there in that neighborhood just the other day from when I interviewed them. So this was back when he was like 2013, 2014, when he was still in the trenches in Chicago. So a lot of guys from out south, do rock with out west. Don't let anything that these guys say fool you. Because a lot of times the west side and the south side, they tease each other a lot. I'm not going to say diss, but tease each other, because there's a lot of differences between those sides of the city, and they kind of mess with each other. But it's none of it's really serious. A lot of guys from these two sides of the city have friends in different parts of the city. But anyways, so everybody survived though. Okay, nobody got killed in this drive-by shooting, thank goodness. The victims were on a sidewalk over by Damon and Monroe. A shooter fired at them from a car around midnight. This was just after midnight. It was around 12:14 a.m. Okay, so that's according to CPD. 2 of the victims ran back to the United Center, and others got into a car and drove a short distance to get help. Okay, that's being reported by CWB Chicago. Police said that a 15-year-old boy was taken to the hospital with a gunshot wound in his left leg, and the other 4 victims were taken to Stroger Hospital. And I always repeat this reminder. Forgive me if I'm driving you guys crazy with this, but I had a student over at Sullivan High School who had gotten shot in the leg, and he didn't go to the hospital for it. And he woke up in the middle of the night, with blood and stuff. You got to go to the hospital for those leg shots, okay? Because the thing can travel, and there's veins, in the leg that are like major, large veins. That bullet hits one of those veins, you can bleed out slowly, okay? You may think you don't need medical attention, you're just going to leave the bullet in there. that's a bad idea. You can bleed out. You got to go to the hospital for those leg shots. But anyways, the other 4 victims were taken to the hospital. A 16-year-old boy was shot in his right arm. A 16-year-old boy was shot in his right leg. An 18-year-old man was shot in his right leg. Another 18-year-old man was had a graze wound to his left arm. So all young victims. At least 2 vehicles, including a taxi cab, were hit by the bullets, but no injuries to the passengers or drivers were reported. Police did not provide a description of the gunman or the getaway car, and no arrests have been made. A mass shooting, like I said, it's I think 4 victims, not 5. But anyways, because like I said, these people could have been from any part of the city. The guys who were coming out of the concert, so I don't want to put this on the gangs in the area or the West Side or anything like that. But so we're switching to a different topic because I'm going to tell you guys while I'm on this area about some of the sets that are just around the United Center that you guys may have seen me walking through in some of my other videos. So you already know about the woodblock foes because I just told you about them over by Wood and Maple. And I know my camera work is terrible here, so I'm going to intersperse this with some good old Google Maps work here. And so the Damon Courts, that's probably the closest one to the United Center. Okay, that's right over by West Point Plaza and Malcolm X College. It's, I think, only BDs, but the thing is they're clicked up with P Block, which is like way out. It's nowhere near here. It's like way out to the west. And how they came to be clicked up, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, but that's more over by Malcolm X. It's like right off the expressway and Jackson Boulevard. Okay, so it's by like Jackson and Damon. There's a school right there too called Chicago Bulls College Prep. How that school is, I don't know. I never worked over there. And I never attended Malcolm X. I attended Harold Washington for a little bit when I was trying to get the cab driver certification. And I attended Truman. Those are the only 2 city colleges I've been to. But yeah, anybody that's been to Malcolm X College can let me know in the comment section how that school was. If you got any recommendations for the other people watching the video. But about a block to the west of that, okay, also off Jackson, you got another set of BDs. Call themselves like Muff Mob or something like that. I don't know too much about them. Okay, but then to the west of that, there's J-Dub, which you guys heard, not me, but one of those Four Corner Hustler members that I interviewed several times on the channel, that guy, Tuki Tuwap, he had shouted them out. So at the time that I interviewed them, at least, they were getting along with Woodblock. And I think they still are, because I haven't heard of anything starting up over there. I think they still get along with them. And that's right over by Crane High School. Okay, Crane is right over by Jackson, and like it's like Jackson and Oakley. I don't think Crane is right off Damon. It's right over by Jackson and Oakley. I only worked at Crane a couple times, like between Jackson and Van Buren along Oakley. Okay, so J-Dub is right there, and J-Dub is, I think, T's. Okay, it's like Vice Lords. They may have some other stuff with them besides Traveling Vice Lords, but Traveling Vice Lords is all I know that they have. They may have somebody else. Okay, and like I said, they're right over there by Crane. The expressway really kind of borders their territory. The expressway is like just south of Van Buren. Okay, then down by the medical district, which is a spot you guys have obviously seen in a ton of my videos, and I've gotten comments on my videos about how I'm always over by County Hospital. Right off of like Levitt, like about a block west of Levitt, off of Bell, right over by DiMenzo's Pizza over there, is a set called T-Dub. And honestly, what they are, I don't even know. I don't know what they are. It's just like some set over there. There's like it's by like Roosevelt. I would say it's between like Roosevelt and Polk. And then like just to the west of the medical district. There's some set called T-Dub. I don't even know what they are. You go a little bit farther down Western, down by 13th. And there's a set called Germ City, which I think is Breeds. And it's very small. It's just like one little section down there. Directly west of the United Center, I don't think is any gang territories. Okay, that's kind of like a business district. Fulton Market is over there. You're into the area that they call the West Loop. And that is, I don't believe there's any gang territories around there. Like there's no housing around there even really that houses like gang members that anybody, would have anything going on over there. I've never seen gang members hanging out over there. It's like a party area and stuff. Union Park is over there. There's a museum, so that I don't think is anything having to do with gangs. So if you're looking for a safe area, the West Loop is relatively safe. Okay, then directly west, though, of the woodblock foes off of Maypole, but to the west of Damon, is another set of keys called Duke Mob. I don't know too much about them, and I never interviewed those guys. The only other place that I want to mention in this video, so I had mentioned that to the east of that is pretty safe area. Okay, when you're going over towards by Little Italy and UIC, but just to the south of Roosevelt Road, okay, by the Jewel over there and by the Chicago Fire Department, over by like Roosevelt and Morgan, between like Morgan and Throop, or maybe like a block west of Throop, almost to Ashland, is an area that they call the Village, okay, which I think is Breeds, okay, as far as I know. I don't know anybody that lives in the Village, but yeah, I think that's like Breeds over there, so that, I would not say that that's a violent area, but you guys have seen me over there one time. There was a guy like running from the police, jumping over the fence over there. It goes down over there now and then. Okay, it does go down over there now. Like, I would not say that the Village is a great place if you want to find some place to live. Okay, but as far as like violence in the immediate vicinity of it, I would not say there's a lot around there. There's just too much stuff around there. You know what I'm saying? It's like too many businesses. You know, it's too close to the medical district. So that neighborhood, like I said, it's very interesting, and you kind of have a mixed income situation as far as the housing. You got some very wealthy places, and then you've got some, you know, lower income apartments that, you know, house gang members. I mean, that neighborhood is one of the areas in the city like that. So as I've said before, if you're going to Malcolm X, if you're going to the United Center, if you're going to the medical district or anything else in that area, you want to stay on the main streets, okay? Because there was one video probably like last year where I was trying to show some footage around there, and I was trying to go off into one of the neighborhoods to film a spot where somebody had gotten shot and killed. He was like an innocent dude, a basketball player, and the dudes were all standing out there on the block, and I couldn't like put the camera on them, so I had to call it off. So if you go off into one of the side streets, you know, you're gonna see them hanging out there. You know, they have beef with other people, and other people have beef with them. So you definitely want to stay away from the crowds of the guys hanging out there on the corner, and stay on the main streets. Damon, you know, what I call the President Streets, Monroe, Madison, they're named after presidents, Van Buren, and then stay by the medical district. The medical district is pretty safe. That really is like basically a police station. There's so many police always around there by County Hospital, Rush, you know, UIC. It's like you might as well be at a police station. So I would not say that this part of the West Side is particularly dangerous. People can disagree in the comment section, but I don't think of this as a dangerous neighborhood, unless you're one of those guys who's, you know, involved in something. Even despite the fact that this happened and stuff like this occasionally happens over there, there's just too much stuff around there, you know, for it to get to be a really dangerous spot. This is as good as it gets as far as the West Side, or as safe as it gets, because other than this, the West Side is pretty much as bad in general. So you guys let me know what you think in the comment section, though, man. Thankfully, nobody was killed in this drive-by shooting. I just wanted to give you guys a little information about the neighborhood, because this is a neighborhood you guys have seen in a million videos, but I never really talked about, you know, everybody that's around there. And shout out to everybody over on Woodblock and everybody over in the jungle. You know, I don't get down with the gang stuff, but, you know, I hope those guys, you know, prosper and make it out, and you know, are able to do their thing and move to a safer area where they don't have beef with anybody. Because obviously, if you choose to get involved in that stuff, then it is what it is. Your boy Chicago News. I'm out.